According to the state's own estimate, the elimination of non-school property taxes would result in local governments losing $18.3 billion in annual revenue. Orange County could be down more than $1 billion, while the projection for Seminole County is $328 million.
To start this topic off, I wanted to talk about the recent proposal for no property tax in Florida that Florida House just passed not too long ago. So I want to start off with this article. So it says the Florida House passed a proposal to let voters decide on eliminating most homestead property taxes. If approved by voters in 2026, the measure would cut an estimated $14.8 billion in local government funding. The state Senate has not yet advanced a similar measure, citing concerns over the financial impact on counties. Democrats argue the tax cut would shift the burden to renters and businesses and could underfund local businesses. But I mean, overall, I think that this is a good proposal. Of course,
why are local businesses being funded by property taxes? First off, why are any businesses being funded by the government?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And of course, I think, they're going to have to shift around some money in order to do this. But at the same time, I think they were saying that there's not a problem, but we have a way in the budget where money is being mismanaged and not spent properly. So basically, the mismanaged money that's not being spent properly could go towards covering and helping with the elimination of some of the property taxes that we face right now. So I think there are ways that they can move money around and make it happen. But of course, Democrats, they never want to see any type of taxes removed from the budget that's taxing the citizens. So what do you think about this?
Well, as I've been watching it, I've noticed one thing. The municipalities primarily complaining about this and saying, we won't have enough money for our schools. We won't have enough money for this. And we'll have enough money for that. Every municipality that I've seen complain about this has been a blue municipality within Florida. And I know that's not much of Florida, but those have been the staunchest people against it. So just leaves me to wonder, you guys are spending way more money than you need to. We know there's fraud and it's not just Minnesota, it's all across the nation.
Right.
So you guys are just going to have to lock it in.
Right. And if you can take that mismanaged money and help cover expenses that take the place of what property taxes were paying for, that would help out a lot. And then also the proposal is not to really eliminate property taxes in complete form for all properties. If it's an investment property, a person has 4 or 5 investment properties, they can't have free property taxes for all 4 or 5 properties. But the proposal is really for, those young people, those people that's trying to start out, trying to buy a home, and they're just trying to have one primary residence with homestead exemption, and allowing them not to pay property taxes would alleviate some of that concern when it comes to buying houses. Because as you know, the average age for Americans buying houses now is not 20s or 30s anymore. It's more geared toward 45, 50 years old now. So we kind of trying to gear that shift and allow more young people to be able to purchase homes, because young people are our future. So we need them to be stable in order to have a stable country in the future,
Now, I do think that a problem with this bill, as we've discussed before, this is going to convince more people from out of state to move to Florida. They're going to try and take advantage of this property tax issue. And I don't think that this should be applicable to non-Florida residents. If you're not a Florida resident, you should not be able to be exempt from property taxes because you moved to Florida. The problem I see with that is it's going to create another housing bubble. So while you're removing the property taxes for people like you and me who are younger buying our first house, you remove the property taxes, that helps. But now you're driving up the amount of people moving to Florida, supply and demand. We still are going to have the same amount of houses. We can only build them so quick, but the demand is going to skyrocket.
Right.
What is that going to do? That's going to drive prices up. So our mortgage prices are still going to increase. It's probably going to be damn near the same, because while the taxes disappear in the next 5 years, mortgage prices are going to skyrocket.
Yeah, mortgage prices.
So I just think it's really important that we protect Florida for Floridians.
So maybe that's something else they should put into the proposal.
Absolutely.
Something to protect Floridians for other people traveling into to the state trying to buy houses.
Yeah, and honestly, that's never something I considered on my own. That's one of those fishback ideas that he proposed. Was, you know, he said we don't want more people from out of state to come to our country. We have enough. You're ruining the affordability for our actual Floridians.
Right.
And I do like this idea. I like canceling any tax anytime for any reason, because taxation is theft.
Yeah, it is theft.
You know, if you want to do a use tax on certain purchased items or something like that, that's fine. But the fact that we don't have an income tax is great, but no property tax would be great. But we just have to make sure that we're doing this in a way that
that protects Floridians.
protects us. Yeah.
Protect Floridians makes sense. And then also, like you say, doing it in a way where our mortgages won't skyrocket. So eliminating the property taxes makes sense. You know, so I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll never happen under the current administration we have in Florida.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, they won't add that. I don't think the Senate will add it. I think if it was going to get added, it would have gotten added by the Florida House, because they're far more conservative leaning than the Senate.
I see.
So I think if it missed Congress, it's gonna miss the Senate.
Miss the Senate.
Yeah.
Okay. But guys, I also have a little short video I want to show you guys that actually explains this in more detail. So let's check this video out.
Passed their plan to give voters the choice to get rid of homestead property taxes that don't fund schools. Their proposed ballot amendment also locks in minimum funding for law enforcement and public safety. West News' Justin Shecker spoke with the Seminole County tax collector. He joins us live from his office in Altamont Springs. Justin.
Well, like the Democrats in the legislature, Stu, this county's Republican tax collector wonders how counties and cities would make up for a major loss in revenue. The Republican House Speaker says the resolution approved today could set the stage for historic property tax reform.
80 yeas, 30 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes.
The Florida House, along party lines, passed a resolution Thursday that could give Floridians a major property tax break.
This may well be the most aggressive legislation ever passed by a legislative chamber on property taxes in the history of the United States.
For months,
I'll agree
Governor
with
Ron
that.
DeSantis has called for the complete elimination, but the House resolution preserves homestead property taxes that fund public schools.
Our actions today are not sudden, nor do they meet any reasonable definition of the word
Preserves
quick.
the
Florida
homestead
Senate
tax
still
that
needs to
saves
approve
the
the
schools.
proposal
Okay.
before a constitutional amendment
That's
would
good.
appear on the November ballot.
We are here to address
For now,
putting
until they can find a different
money
way to
back
fund them.
into people's pockets.
Right.
We are also giving our people a choice.
According to the state's own estimate, the elimination of non-school property taxes would result in local governments losing $18.3 billion in annual revenue. Orange County could be down more than $1 billion, while the projection for Seminole County is $328 million.
Where they get the money from, if they don't collect it from property tax, is a mystery.
Yeah, it's also not our problem.
Seminole tax collector
Yeah.
My
J.R.
money
Cole
is not
says
your
counties
money.
and cities might need to increase sales tax rates to pay for police, fire, and other services.
And say, well, we'll do it at a sales tax. I go, well, in a recession or something like COVID happens, what happens when you don't get the money in because people drop off?
Orlando's Democratic State Rep Anna Escamani says she worries wealthier Floridians would benefit the most.
What it's likely going to do is shift the burden of taxation to renters, who arguably are the folks who are struggling to achieve the American dream of home ownership.
And Governor Ron DeSantis says he's working with the Florida Senate on a property tax proposal for this year's ballot. He also wrote on X, quote, given that it can't be voted on by the people before November, it's better to do it right than do it quick. We're live in Altamont Springs. I'm Justin Shecker, WESH 2 News.
But all in all, I think that their worries of where the money come from, I believe that the money definitely can come from somewhere else. Because when you look at services like fire service, a lot of fire service, can be collected through utilities. Have you ever looked on the utility bill here in the city and you see fire service on it?
Yeah, we pay that here.
Yeah, so you can really find other areas to allocate these services to, where you don't necessarily have to get it from property taxes. So they're worried about, where is this money going to come from? That shouldn't be as much of a worry as they're putting on. You know what I mean?
And she said that the Democrat that was speaking said that she was worried that it would be transferred to renters. I'm uncertain how that's even possible. I don't understand how she believes that's even possible. How is less taxes going to get transferred to a renter?
Yeah, I don't understand how
The bill doesn't increase taxes for investment properties.
Well, maybe she's saying more an indirect approach. Like, for instance, if they raise the sales tax rate, renters are going to be people that rent won't really have much benefit other than paying more in sales tax rate. So you see, like, the only benefit that this is going to have is for people that's able to afford a house. And so there will be no benefit for renters, because the renters will have to pay more in sales tax if they decide to do something like that, of that nature.
So I think a large percentage of houses that are rented were previously owned as primary residences, and they retained them as an investment portfolio. So they still won't be paying taxes. So actually, it feels to me like it would have the opposite effect.
Yeah, I mean, I only can see it having an indirect effect where it's just the renter won't have any type of benefit. But at the same time, maybe even if the renter doesn't have much benefit at first because they can't afford a house and they might get hit over the head with some other tax like sale tax, they still have a better chance in the future of owning a house because
Absolutely.
it's going to be cheaper to own a house. So maybe they won't have to be renters for the rest of their life.
It gives them something to strive towards.
Right.
It gives you a more tangible goal.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
So even if it's a little punishment for a renter at first, because they might get hit with other taxes in other areas, in the long run, in the long-term vision, they will be able to better afford a house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is a big investment, which is probably one of the best investments for a regular average American to have as an asset.
Their private home.
You know, their private home.
Absolutely. A lot of people, when they retire, that's all they have.
Right.
It's all they have.
Right, exactly. Yes. But yeah, I just wanted to share that topic with you guys of what's going on here in Florida and how we are trying to eliminate property taxes and just make it better for Floridians in general.
Hopefully it pushes through.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to buy a house.
Yeah, I know you are.
Man, I'm ready to get my first house. The ripe age of 39. Who would have thought it would have taken this long?
Which is great for nowadays, because nowadays it's even later. So that's actually good.
And to be fair, had I not had the shortcomings, missteps, and fumbles that I caused myself throughout my life up until this point, I would have owned one 10 years ago. It's my fault. It was my mismanagement of funds. It was my mismanagement of time. It was my bad decision making. So
I got you.
my fault regardless.
But you still on a faster track than most Americans, so
That's
you still have to
wild
pat your
think
back
about,
on it.
man. I'm halfway through my life.
Yeah.
I'm 50% of the way through my life, and I'm just now about to buy a house, and that's early.
Yeah.
That's a problem, guys. That's a serious problem.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty serious and sad problem that we have as a culture right now. Yeah, it is. But what you had a interesting topic, didn't you?
Let's see here. What else we got to touch on today?